Hello, everyone, and welcome to the VICIS RDA headquarters here in Seattle, Washington. My name is Cord Santiago. I'm a senior design engineer. So today I'm going to walk you through what to expect in the box when you order your pads, what you'll receive, and then how to go about customizing and adjusting them to make sure you get the best fit and performance out of these pads. Today we're looking at the skill pad. This pad comes in a skill, an all-purpose, and a trench fit. I'm going to talk you through kind of high-level differences on those three different models. The beautiful thing about this pad is that it's completely modular and adjustable. So whether you order a skill, an all-purpose, or a trench, you can rework and convert any model to any other model as long as you stay within the same size. If you want to replace epaulets, caps, change the fit, new pads, backplate, all of that you can do at home with very simple tools and not a lot of know-how. So that's the purpose of this video. We're going to walk you through each of these points step by step. And again, just make sure you get your pads set up for you to ensure the best fit and performance. So the first thing that we're gonna have you adjust when you receive your pads out of the box is the belt. You'll see we have a pretty unique ratcheting belt system. You'll have a region of micro adjustability here in the front of the pad. But what we need to do first is set your adjustment in the back of the pad to make sure you're in the right zone. And so we ask you to do this first so that way you have the pad sitting in the correct location and the right fit, and all the other pads and every other adjustment is gonna build off of that. So it's important to start with this belt adjustment first. The first thing we're gonna need to do when adjusting any of the components of the pads is make sure you have the right tools. So you should receive with your pads a Torx T15 tool. The other thing you'll need is a set of needle nose pliers. All of our T-nuts have 2 notches in the base that allow you to grab pretty easily with needle nose pliers. A standard set of pliers is a little bit more difficult to use. We also have a T-nut tool that makes this process a little bit easier, but I find that needle nose pliers are just as good as those in most situations. So Torx driver, needle nose pliers, and that's what you need to go about adjusting all these components on a pad. So first we're gonna talk about this belt adjustment. So it's just me here today, so I'm gonna walk you through how to do these adjustments by yourself. It is a little bit helpful to have someone to give you a hand and do some of these adjustments in the back while you're wearing the pad. But today we're just gonna do this assuming it's just you, your pads, and a couple of tools. So what we're gonna do to start, you're gonna reach in, remove these Velcro back pads. Some of this Velcro is pretty strong, so don't be shy. So you have your left and right rear pads out. We're also gonna lift up these strap pads, and that's going to expose the T-nut for your belt. I'm gonna do this on both sides. All right, so with those T-nuts exposed in the back, now you can see what we're looking at here. I'm gonna take my needle nose pliers and I'm gonna get those in the 2 little notches on my T-nut. And then once I have that, I'm gonna grab my Torx driver, come to the outside, and loosen this screw up. Okay, so I got my first screw out on this side. I'm gonna take the opposite side out. So we're gonna free up the back sides of both belts. All right, you'll also notice a cool feature of this pad is that the tails of the strap tuck into the body of the arch itself. So we're gonna go ahead and pop those out because they're gonna come pre-installed with that tail tucked in there. And now what I'm gonna do, this is, if I had someone to help me, I would put the pads on, and I'd have my partner take these and pull them until they're nice and tight. I'd start with my buckles in all the way. Then I'd have someone kind of take these, pull the straps tight, and check what eyelet I should be on in the back, and then reinstall them. But since we're doing this by ourselves today, what I'm gonna do, since I know I wanna tighten these up by a couple inches, I'm gonna jump 2 holes in the back. So we were at the 2nd hole, I'm gonna go to this 4th hole on both sides. So I lost those strap pads when I was trying them on. You'll notice that these have a small tether on them. So make sure you slide that back through when you reinstall your hardware. So I know I need to go about 1.5 inches tighter on either side. These T-nuts or these eyelets are spaced 1 inch apart. So I'm actually gonna jump two eyelets. So I'm gonna go from the 2nd to the 4th. Now, what I recommend that you do is while you're making these adjustments, eventually we'll want you to cut off some of this excess strap so it tucks in nicely to the pad and everything's really clean on the outside. But for the first couple of practices, just go ahead and leave that excess strap kind of hanging outside the pad to make sure you like the fit before you kind of commit to cutting those belts and tucking them in. So I'm gonna show you that right now. We're just gonna leave this exterior strap or the extension of the strap outside the pad. Reinstall your T-nut, reinstall your screw. I like to just get a couple of threads started there by hand so it holds in place. Okay, so we have our first side just sort of loosely connected. Now I'm gonna come over here to the second side. Once that gets started, you might be fighting some of that Loctite on there, so you can kind of hold it as best you can until that wants to spin, that T-nut. Come back in again with your needle nose pliers. And now this hardware is meant to bottom out against the T-nut. So as far as torque specs, you don't really need to worry about anything. Just tighten that down until it binds against the T-nut. So the screw will hit the top of the T-nut, and that's when you know you're all the way seated. Do the same on the other side. Grab those little notches in the T-nut. Okay. So at this point, we're gonna reattach our little strap pad just in the right position. Reinstall our back pads. And then we're gonna check the fit, make sure we're happy with it. So if this is me, loosen these belts. And make sure that I can get this nice and tight the way I want to wear it. Oh yeah. All right, so that's nice and tight. So I like that fit. Again, go ahead and practice with it for a couple of days. Make sure you are happy with it while you're out there moving before you commit to cutting and tucking those straps in.